here with former US Congressman Tim Ryan. He's also the president and CEO of Celtic Consulting. He's written a couple of books. He's one of the few Democrats these days that I think gets it. I think he's one of the faces of the future of the party. Welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me. Good to see you again.
I loved listening to you on Morning Joe the other week because I had the same visceral reaction when I saw Chuck Schumer, Maxine Waters, and Elizabeth Warren, going, "Yay, we're going to win!" Protest in front of the U.S. Treasury. I was like, "This is not this. This has got to change. This party is lost. There are no leaders out there, and this certainly can no longer be the faces of the party in any way, shape, or form."
Yeah. No, just I don't tweet a ton, but I sent it out and it got like 1 million hits. I'm like, whoop, I must have struck a nerve there.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think it's like the same old show, the same old routine, and it's not worked. It's not working, and to think we're going to keep going down that road, I think, is pretty depressing.
So what's the Democrats' message right now is picking at the things that are wrong with Trump, and there's no alternative at this point. There's nothing they stand for. There's no, okay, well, if you don't like Trump, if this doesn't work out for you over the next 2 years, here's what we got. And so let me put you in charge of that. Where do they go?
Well, I think you got to pick your fights. I think they're scattershot. I mean, again, I was in Congress for 20 years. I voted for USAID. I voted for the foreign aid bills. I was on the defense committee, so I know how important the foreign aid portion of our budget is in preventing wars and ingratiating ourselves to the world and fighting global pandemic, all that stuff. Set that aside. Are we dying on the hill of USAID in Youngstown, Ohio?
Better not be.
No, that's how the whole fight the last 2 weeks has been USAID, and it's like, we don't have enough to eat. We're not making ends meet here in America, and Democrats are dying on the hill of sending our money abroad. And then you're explaining stuff, and then you're losing. And I think, so you got to really pick your fights as to where you're going to go and amplify in a fractured media environment, and that wasn't it. I think you stay on the economic stuff. The inflation numbers are still bad. I just saw this morning there's going to be a $4.5 trillion tax cut, $1.5 trillion in cuts. Those tax cuts are going to go primarily to the top 1%. There's going to be pocketbook issues. So just play the long game for once.
Yeah.
Don't play the media cycle and get into the next race or two is going to be an economic race, and start laying the groundwork for Trump is effing this up. He's betraying the very people that he said he was going to help. He's now allowing for banking fees to go back on. He's now allowing that if you have medical debt and medical bankruptcy, that goes on your credit. Like, is that really what people voted for? So start laying that groundwork and play the long game a little bit.
I mean, he took the Democratic base. I mean, just the basic values, basic principles. He stole them. And look, there's a lot of people I talk to, a lot of former Democrats or people who are swing voters that they're not paying attention to the things that they're talking about, that we talk about, to your point, the aid and what he's doing with the FBI, which are obviously problematic, but he gives people what they want. If you're a Jew, he's speaking in a language that you like. If you're somebody that wanted immigration ended, he's speaking in a language you like. So he gives people enough of what they want that they're willing to look the other way on some of the other things.
Yeah. And they people don't have enough bandwidth to pay attention to everything either. So top line is, he's going to stop immigration and deport people who are here illegally that shouldn't have been here in the first place.
Yeah, but who's going to argue with that? Yeah, I mean,
right?
That's it.
He's going to clean up government. That's why this Doge thing. It's like you get into the weeds on research and this and that, but the reality is everybody knows how screwed up the federal government is. Everyone knows the federal government blows through a bunch of money and doesn't know where they're spending it. Waste, fraud, abuse, the whole night, everywhere, in every agency across the board. And now Democrats are looking like we're against him doing anything.
I know, you're the word.
That
that's the thing. The Democrats right now only stand for against doing anything. Like Trump or not like Trump, he's doing a lot. And I think that he gets points for that alone. Now, we know the barrage of stuff and the barrage of things that are said. He floods the airwaves. But the Democrats have got to start to stand for what you're going to do versus we don't want him doing this.
Yeah, they should be pounding him on inflation.
That's it.
Just pound them. and he's doing tariffs. Like, people don't know that the tariffs are on or off or barely on and then went off. He put tariffs on, and now your eggs are still expensive. Like, he's doing the opposite of what he said.
Yeah.
He's running around with a billionaire. He's going to go cut taxes for a billionaire. He's a master of the media. You got to give him credit. But you got to be very savvy in how you respond to him.
How you feel? Give me your take on how it's going to play out with his bro, Elon Musk. That's certainly one of the. I mean, it was interesting in the White House yesterday seeing Musk up there holding court. What was your reaction?
The fact that he was in the Oval Office, like, I don't ever remember a president really having someone else command the stage in the Oval Office like that. So I thought that was. I thought Trump was getting annoyed with this kid because, Trump hates that stuff. Like, Trump's not the guy go, oh, how cute his kid's here. Okay?
No.
Trump's like, what's this little shit doing here in my office, I didn't think it was compelling at all. I mean, he's talking about unelected bureaucrats making decisions, and he's an unelected person making really, making big decisions for the country. I can't imagine that lasts, right? I mean, what relationship does Trump have that lasts through the years? I just can't imagine. At some point, Musk will become a liability, and he's going to have to cut him. That's just how that'll end.
Look, the big constitutional question that it lays before us is everything is all, you can talk either way you want, both sides. But do you think at some point, he's rejected them so far, the courts, but he has the appeals to go through. Do you think if something ever goes to the Supreme Court and it doesn't go his way, he just says, look, come get me. What do you want? We're doing it anyway. That's where the wheels start to fall off. What's your thinking on that?
Yeah, I think he may try. I mean, I don't know if you get Thune and Johnson and these guys have the stones to actually go to him and say, don't even try it. Are there still a few people around him that, like, that's a bridge too far, you're going to lose us? You can't do that because it all unravels at that point. But that's what again, I'm not paying attention to this like I used to, but that's the thing that scares the crap out of me. It's like, oh my God, there's your constitutional crisis. And again, Johnson's not had the stones. McConnell hadn't had the stones. Nobody has the stones to take this guy on. And is that a bridge too far where they step in? I don't know. And then what do you do? Like, I just don't. Uncharted waters. Well, at that point.
Then we are no longer who we are. I mean, that's it. The judiciary. What did you think of Vance's text the other day? When he said basically,
which one?
Well, we talked about the judge. Judges don't necessarily get to decide.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he I've got a little history with the kid.
Yeah.
He's so far up Trump's rear end that he's going to say whatever Trump wants him to say, and he'll preemptively say something that he would know Trump would want him to say. So he's very good at that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what that was really about. I mean, that's the thing with him and Hawley and Cruz and these guys, like Harvard, Yale, law degrees, like, these guys know better, which makes it even that much more sickening that they would do it. I'm more interested in this fight with the Pope myself.
Yeah,
I think that's
a winning proposition.
Yeah, that's a good one there, But these guys, if it's like the Pope or Trump, they go with Trump, It's like,
it's interesting you bring up the guys with all their Ivy League educations and threading back to what you talked about earlier. The only play for the Democrats is to just say they're a bunch of rich guys and you're not. That's all they care about. The guys making the decisions that are being made. You basically just say they are not looking out for you. They are looking out for them. It's just simple. You keep talking about simplicity. That's got to be the simplicity of the message.
100%. And then you just hang bulbs on that tree. Is it banking fees? Is it medical debt? It's inflation. It's, Musk is going to get his government contracts, but, poor disabled kids through the Department of Education aren't getting theirs, on and on. I mean, it'll just, but you gotta, like what you were just saying, you said this for a long time, years and years and years. It's like, you got to establish, like, what's the brand, right? And what's the narrative? What's the storyline we're trying to have? And then how does everything feed into that storyline? The Democrats have been terrible with that because every day they've changed the story. And you see that a lot in their ads that they run. Senators are running these different ads about different things. And you can't be all things to all people. What's the thing? I like X senator because of he fights for me or he takes on those, whatever it is.
Yeah.
we have to stay on that track. And I think you're exactly right. Here are the billionaires. Every policy issue is feeding into them and against you. And the guy betrayed you. And, we get it. He's a persuasive guy. He's a charismatic guy, but he's effed you good.
I've been keeping a low profile lately, and I'm at the point now where I'm so fed up with the Democrats. I mean, I have my issues with Trump, obviously, but I'm so fed up with the Democrats. I'm so fed up with what happened. I'm so fed up with what happened with Biden and how woke they got. And that's very unlike me. But I think there's a lot of people feeling that way.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the same. You've carried the flag for a long time. So have I in Congress in these fights for over 20 years. It gets depressing to watch a party not learn their lessons. And, I was on a radio show yesterday and I talked a little bit about what we were just talking about. Evidently, somebody texted me, the guy after me got on, and I was saying economics, play the long game, this and that. Guy gets on, starts talking about impeachment. Some member of Congress. I'm going, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, so it is really frustrating. I think, we need a complete rebrand. The party is toxic. My staff sent me something. I said that in 2016 when Trump won. I said in some quarters of the country, the party is absolute. It's like, ooh, you're a Democrat, like where I'm from.
Same. By the way, I'm in New York. I'm in the Upper East Side of New York City. I cannot tell you how, in so many ways, I'm like a little bit of an outcast, not an outcast, but I'm an outlier. Let's put it that way. That it is every swing voter I know in New York that goes for Reagan, Clinton, Obama, Trump, then went for Biden, went for Trump this time. Every voter I know who's in play, because I believe that we live between the 45-yard lines. I mean, that's where most people are. And all of those people just said, I can't vote Democrat. They held their nose. And since he's gotten in, they're sticking their chests out. See, I told you, look how good things are, everything, and to the point they're not paying attention to any of the things that could be really scary.
Well, the thing that bothers me too, and it was with the Biden folks, it's like they couldn't find anything to stick to Trump, right? It was the lying to us, to everybody, a gaslighting that happened to anybody who was saying, wait a minute, this guy probably shouldn't be running. I said it a year before the race. I got absolutely hammered. Yeah. But then the debate happened, and they were still like, you guys are lying to us. Now everyone's saying they were in meetings with them 6 months earlier. You couldn't put a sentence together, right? So they lied to us. But look, we're trying to say Trump is anti-democratic, right? Now you're the average guy just listening to this stuff.
You have a response.
Trump's anti-democratic. Right. Well, how about Biden rigging the Democratic primary? Yeah. Isn't that anti-democratic? Yeah. Like Robert Kennedy's son can't get a debate in the Democratic primary with Joe Biden. You screwed New Hampshire, which is an absolute blue state with 2 blue senators, 2 blue members of Congress.
Well, how about also once he dipped out, instead of having some kind of primary fast, this competition. No, we anoint Kamala Harris, who I think was a horrible candidate. She just didn't connect. I mean, not a lot of people say that. I just think there was an inauthenticity that she did not come across as genuine and real. And when she couldn't answer, like, what are you going to do different than Biden did or things like that, that was it.
Yeah, that's when it was over. That on The View, that was it. It was over at that point. And but I mean, go back and, I don't know how they would have even tried to have some kind of primary, but it's just your sitting president put your party in that position, and he was enabled by so many people in high positions who were worried about him winning so they could get the next ambassadorship or they could get the next appointment. So they were like just kind of holding their breath, hoping that it all panned out, and they screwed everybody. They screwed the party, they screwed the country, and it's hard to get back on the bandwagon, and say, okay, where are you guys taking us now?
Yeah, and it's hard to just do nothing but chip at Trump, because then they go, well, what do you got? What do you got? And they don't have it. So when are you getting back in the ring, my friend?
I don't know. I'm kind of regrouping myself and, finally making a little bit of money, honestly, between me and you. I'm like,
it's not so terrible.
It doesn't suck. Right. It really doesn't. I wake up in the middle of the night, my wife's buying a pair of shoes for one of the kids. I mean, that's like, But I love politics. I love being a Democrat. I'm an old school Kennedy, RFK, Democrat. Bill Clinton, I think we need a Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
that's
that's
exactly what
to
we
your
need.
point. What's very interesting is every party is dead until somebody comes along. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
the Republicans were completely lost, and then Ronald Reagan showed up, and Democrats were lost, and Clinton showed up, and the Republicans were lost this time, and Trump showed up. So we need. So other than you, who are the other people out there in the party that you see? You know, boy, this would be great if these people stepped up and started to become the faces of the party.
I like what Chris Murphy's doing.
He's doing a good job.
He's hitting pretty hard, and I think he's a very thoughtful guy. He's a smart guy. Some of these governors too, I kind of like them, but at the same time, they were all kind of silent when this whole thing was going down, and nobody had the guts to like say what needed to be said. And I feel like that needs to be like a real threshold for us, is like, who's taking over, who's going to run? Like, do you have the stones to tell people what they don't want to hear?
And by the
nobody likes it.
And that's what people look. That's what people respond to with Trump. And the one lesson Democrats need to learn: you can be wrong, just be firm, have a point of view, be authentic, be real, be genuine. Yeah. And that has been missing for the Democratic Party.
Yeah, be thoughtful. I mean, again, I'm a huge Bill Clinton guy, but I mean, just thinking back to his campaign where, what Cargill used to say, you got to explain it to them. Like, just talk to people like they're freaking adults and they got a brain, and explain to them what you want to do and why you want to do it. And most people are, like you said, between the 45-yard lines, are going to give you an honest hearing. And if you feel, and they feel like they care, that you care about them, they don't get into the policy weeds, right? But we lead with the policy, and there's zero emotion. Right? You got, Chuck and whoever up there screaming and yelling, like, where's the emotion? Where's the emotional connection that a coach needs in order to have a winning team, that a teacher needs in order to have kids thrive in the classroom, that a CEO needs in order to have a company thrive, and that a politician, governor, senator, mayor needs in order to like make their city or country thrive? We're missing that, Donnie.
Do you believe the party understands they need to move to the middle? Or my concern is some of the most active faces out there, the AOCs, whatnot. AOC is a losing proposition. I'm not saying about this personally. If she is a face of the party, we lose because we are branded far left. And that's the problem. And we don't have we don't have enough faces in the middle. And they're basically saying, we're going to own the middle. And basically be able to come out and say, I support Israel, period. Not a comma after that. Not, well, there's two sides to this coin, that basically come out, and it's basically kind of do the things that Richie Torres has done. That's what people in the middle,
Richie's great.
People in the middle want to hear.
I love Richie. I hope he runs for governor or senator or something. I think he's terrific.
Yeah.
He's another good one. It's really the younger ones that are, I think, doing a nice job. I mean, we got to find that little blend between having a little bit of seasoning, because it's a tough business. Running for higher office is tough, and the landscape is tough. And really to me, it's like emotional strength. It's not even intellect anymore.
Right.
It's like we're all smart. Everybody's smart.
Everybody's
we got
smart.
a lot of great, right? Everybody's smart.
Yeah.
Do you have the stones? Do you have the intestinal strength to be able to say no, the Sister Souljah moment that just transforms a campaign? And Kamala was not able to do that in any way, shape, or form. Some of our Senate candidates who lost were not able to do that in any way, shape, or form. And I think we've got to wrestle it away from the lefties. I mean, we had this conversation, not to get into it, but I do some work in the natural gas industry, right? Like, we need baseload power. It's displacing coal. It's good for better for the environment, way better than coal is. And so just talking to the campaign about Western PA and natural gas, right? And Biden put on this pause for exporting natural gas to our partners in Europe and all this. Nothing. And it's like, do you know what a terrible environmental policy is if you're going to die on that hill? Donald Trump being president of the United States. Yeah. So if you're interested in winning and moving the ball down the field, then you can't be anti-natural gas in Western PA because you have zero chance of winning the state, and it's not like it's bad either. It's like it's really moving us in the right direction. So those kind of really dumb things that we die on the hill on, and then we just sacrifice the state of Pennsylvania and all those workers there, and then Trump's president. So, like, if you're really in the environmental movement, like, was that really a smart move?
You lost. Tell me about Celtic Consulting. Tell me what you're working on. What's that about?
Yeah, I'm doing some natural gas stuff. I'm doing some. I do some stuff with the blockchain and kind of new technologies. I sit on an AI board promoting artificial intelligence. I work with some labor unions, and really kind of on the environmental tech space, Web3 space around energy and AI. It's a lot of fun. It's interesting. A lot less stress, and I'm coaching my 10-year-old's basketball team. I got my first technical the other day, Donnie.
Oh, what'd you do? What'd you do? What happened? A bunch of 10-year-olds and you're screaming running on the court, right?
I did. I ran on. I guess that was the problem, is when I was like 10 yards onto the court. But the guy went over and then threw the ball back, and it was over and back.
Right,
so
sure.
I just watched the video, so I go nuts. Then I calm down. It was only like 2 seconds, but then they throw it to a guy, and he hits a 3-pointer from that possession, and then I went ballistic and just I gotta talk to the parents about a little apology, maybe.
I'm sensing from you, you don't miss what you were doing too much. You kind of like where you are right now.
I do. I pay attention. I love it though. Like I love talking to guys like you about how do you strategize this stuff. I think I could do it at a pretty high level. I still love it. I've got all kinds of policy ideas and doing work with like MDMA and psilocybin to heal vets, and some of the technology stuff I was talking to you about. And I love that stuff. I love solving those public problems, and so we'll see. But it's got to be the right opportunity, and Ohio's not an easy state either to kind of jump back in.
That's a tough one.
Well, in the national brand, like we were up 3 points against JD Vance on Labor Day. And we didn't get any money from Schumer, but it was like that national brand that's like you're carrying the cross. And it's just hard.
I mean, Ohio, you're going uphill to begin with, but when you don't have the cover and it's actually hurting you, not helping us. Tim Ryan, I've always been a big fan. Thanks for taking time, man. We need you back in the ring at some point.
Thanks, Donnie. Appreciate you, man.
Everybody, thanks for watching. If you like it, hit that subscribe button. And we love having you here watching On Brand. And just don't miss any future episodes. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.